Okay, so I just want to give you some quick pointers on Thursday's homework. So we're going to go into Praat and create a text grid with word and segment tiers and then notes tiers as well, and then do some segmenting. So let's do that. All right, so if I go into Praat, and I'm going to go and open read from file to open a sound file, and let's see. So sorry, I have to go into the Anderson et al. Stimuli and just pick one of these here. So let's just pick this one. And alright, so now I have that sound object here in my object window in Praat. And now what I want to do is create a text grid. So I'm going to go to annotate to text grid. And remember, I wanted to have words and segments as interval tiers. So I'm going to type them up here. And then, oh wait, sorry, and also notes. And then I'm going to say that notes is a point tier. I'll explain in a second the distinction between interval tiers and point tiers. So here I list all of the tiers, and here I list just which ones are point tiers. If none of them are, then I don't put anything in there. So I'm going to hit OK, and now I have my text grid up here. I'm going to hit Shift and select the sound so I can look at them together and click on View and Edit. So now you can see I've got my sound file, and I've got the text grid down here with 3 tiers: word, segments, and notes. So interval tier means that I can highlight any duration of time, um, and then set down boundaries like that. So that's like an interval, and I can also label it with something like whatever. This is a sound. And you've seen a little bit of this in a previous video, but you know, if I want to delete this boundary, it's highlighted right now because it's red. You can see that I can go to tier, or sorry, boundary, and remove, which you can see on a Mac is I guess this is Alt backspace. It's probably something similar on PC. So yeah, since it's highlighted, if I get Alt backspace, that boundary goes away. I can also backspace to delete sound, and I can use arrow keys. Right now I'm using Alt arrow keys to go between intervals. So now you can see I'm doing Alt arrow key right, and now this boundary is highlighted, so I can now do Alt and then delete to delete it. Alright, so really quickly, then you can see the difference between an interval tier and a point tier. If I click on the notes tier, which is a point tier, you can see that setting down a particular instant in time. So it doesn't have any duration here. It's just a point. So if you want to mark like the midpoint of a vowel, or like mark like a peak in fundamental frequency or something, that would be good to use a point tier for. So I'm going to do Alt backspace to get rid of that. So what I want you to do is just use the waveform and the spectrogram to try to segment out the sentence. So
Thank you for considering me for this opportunity.
so we have this sentence, and I want you to start trying to segment it out. So if I click on the top tier, you can see this red pointy fingers indicating this is active. So I might say, you know, suppose this is roughly where I think thank is, and then maybe I want to say, oh, here's where you is, um, and so forth. Setting down intervals, like, and then maybe this is for and this, or however you want to do this. And remember, you can click on an interval
Thank you for
and then play tab, or sorry, you can click on an interval and hit
Thank you for
tab to play it. So, you know, then I might want to move this over and so forth. And what I want you to then get used to is start thinking about what things in the spectrogram and waveform are corresponding to these boundaries you're drawing. So then for the segments, you know, it might be like, oh, here's, oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong tier, aren't I? I have to click on the second tier and be like, oh, maybe this is a,
Thank you for considering.
so, wow, I guess that's a very strong, could be an F or something. So, you know, so then you would want to go through and label like the various segments and so forth. Um, the last thing I'll just say is in Praat, you can enter phonetic symbols if you go to help here and look at phonetic symbols. And so, for instance, suppose I want to enter special vowels here, then you can see I can type in a code. Let's say I want to put in a schwa, so it would be backslash e minus, or sorry, that's not schwa. Here, backslash SW. So I could type backslash SW, and you can see it becomes a schwa. So you can also type IPA symbols. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So if you could just, you know, do some preliminary segmenting of the words and segments and have some awareness of what you're looking at. So here, for instance, in the notes tier, it might be like, oh, aperiodic or something. Um, and finally, you can save the text grid if you just go to File, Save Text Grid as text file, and then save it as, um, for instance, here, if I were doing something like KY for my initials and doing that. Okay, have fun.